Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
So I'm 21. I'm about to be out of college this year. I have no debt. I paid it off as I went. But my girlfriend didn't, and she's going to have about $70,000. And every time I bring it up, she's just kind of like dismissive about it. And I don't really like want to pay off her debt in a way, you know what I mean? And I'm just not sure how to go about this in the future.
You should just break up with her, dude.
John,
I'm serious. I mean, because here's the thing: you're both going to bring crap into this relationship, both of you, and some of it you'll know right away, like $70,000 in debt. And if you're already thinking that's hers, and like, ugh, she's bringing this into this, and I don't want any part of it, like that's just a down the road. You're going to run into, oh, I want to raise kids like this, but this is how my dad did it, ugh, or I don't want to live in this neighborhood or this house. Like you're just like if that's your first impulse is what about me, then you're not ready to get married yet. If she has $70,000,
yeah, I understand that.
Does that make sense? So if she has $70,000 of debt, and you're like, dude, I don't care what mountain I have to move. You're gonna be like, I want you to be my wife, and I want to build a life with you. Like hell or high water, you and I are paying this stuff off together. Then awesome, you're off to the races. We would never tell you don't get married because of student loan debt. So when I say just break up with her, does that give you peace or does that make you mad?
A little bit of both. Like me and her have been together a while. It's not that I don't want to pay it off together. Like,
is it more because of her
I
attitude?
was more than happy. Yes, it's more of like she has no, like she doesn't want to pay it. It seems like she wants me to pay it. Is kind of like what I'm getting at.
Okay, what's beneath that? Where else does that show up in your relationship?
Honestly, nowhere. Like she's a little unmotivated. Like she isn't really that ambitious. Like post out of college, she doesn't really want to do. She just kind of wants to do her thing, like live around the area and whatever. And I kind of been like, I did an internship like in another city, and I've been like, exploring career opportunities. But she just kind of seems like stuck where she is, and I just like, I like her a lot, and I want to be with her, but it's just like such a weird thing.
I think y'all should explore that conversation.
Yeah, it's just like I try to go further, but she's just like not interested in like continuing that conversation. You know what I mean?
Beyond the money, though, Dave. Like, hey, this is kind of what I value in life. This is what gives me energy. This is how I'm wired and what I'm excited about, and trying new things and opportunities. And it feels like you're more just I don't know if that kind of life long term is something that you want to be a part of. So I think it's more of that conversation, because what that leads to is her motivation around anything in life, right? Money, career,
kids, cleanliness. How does the house look? Where do we live? And here's the if you ask me what my big fear for you all right now is, and I'm not judging you for this, I'm just calling it out. There's already a piece of you that feels like, well, I'm doing this and you're not doing that. Or to put it in nerd terms, you're already in the scorekeeping world.
Yeah, I can understand that. I just like, when I look at like both of our situations, like I think of everything I've done to get to where I am now. I've worked so hard to be debt free right now. And she just kind of like took the shortcut, and it feels like, and I don't know, it just feels weird for me.
But here's the question. You're asking her to go back in time and sign up for values that you had before y'all started dating, and that's not fair. I hear that about sex. I hear that about money. I hear that about debt, about, well, I did all of this stuff, and we just met, and now we're doing this, and I don't feel like they ... Dude, they didn't sign up for that set of values. The question is, will she agree to live a debt-free life moving forward with you? Because you say, that's the way I feel like our family will be the most safe moving into the 21st century. And if she says, I don't care, now y'all have a values issue, and it's less about, do y'all have the same beliefs? Me and my wife have way different beliefs on all kind of stuff. But one of our core values is if one of us raises a flag and says, this is a huge deal to me, the other person says, well, I don't give a crap, I'm in. Yeah. And so if you're honest and say, this really is important to me, that we commit before we get married, I never want this family to be owned by a bank, by a car dealership, by whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm going to have a Tahoe. Then just know that y'all are going to have problems. Like insurmountable problems, because they're value problems.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that make sense? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, man. I feel like I just ruined your afternoon.
Yeah, that's all good. I understand, man.
Yes.
But I want you to also be very careful because you're not better than her. You just took a different.
I'm not saying that.
I know. But that frustration builds up, and that's how it comes out.
Yeah.
Is I've done all this, and you haven't done anything,
yeah.
right? And so it's kind of like, okay, can we agree on values? But almost always those values conversations, brother, start with you sitting down saying, I'm scared about X, Y, and Z. It's important to me that our family never be owned by somebody. Are you in on that? That means we're going to have to sacrifice here. We're going to have to work really hard for 2 years after we get married to pay off your debts. And that means you're going to have to get a full-time job, all those kind of things. But it starts with you saying what you really feel. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. I mean, this is like kind of a classic example. What we say on the show, a lot of people call in about a money issue. You know, she has student loan debt. I don't know if I want to marry her. And it's not as much about the student loan debt. It's more about the values around the relationship. And because we get people that call here all the time, like, yeah, my wife has, $80,000 in student loan debt. I brought some credit card debt in and we're working to pay it off together. I mean, like it's a team effort there. And as you get into marriage, the less of a team you are and see each other as one and you're on each other's side, both of you, right? She's jumping into your boat, you're jumping into her. I mean, it's just this idea of like, you guys value the same thing together. It's not that life is necessarily easier, but there is a level of smoothness with that. I'm like, you're not running up against barriers constantly because of what you're desiring versus what she's desiring.
Yeah, the world will give you enough resistance.
Yes.
You can't be fighting your partner while you're also trying to take on the world. It has to be y'all two versus the world.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Otherwise, it just gets sideways really quick.
Yep. So, and it sounds like you guys have been dating a while, Dave, is what you said. And you guys are still young. And so maybe you started dating at 16 and you're a different person at 16 than 21. I mean,
it's heartbreaking, but it is.
Reality.
Rachel, like, man, on my show, on the other show that I'm a part of, I get this all the time. I chose to not drink in high school and college, and this person did. And so now, right?
Yeah,
and I always want people to go back and say, you can't judge somebody on values they didn't have before you met them.
right.
The question is, can we unite right now?
Yes.
And if you can't get over that, then you're bringing baggage to the relationship.
Right. And I think it's always a balance in marriage too, and in relationships is that, we always say opposites attract, right? It's like the old saying. And it is true. You're both going to have different levels of passion about different things. So it's not about becoming this like one individual person when you get married. You still are two individual people.
But you're in the same boat.
But that's it. Like it's like, but we're still moving in the exact same direction, right? Winston's still going to have 18 Excel sheets with stuff, out till we're 65, and I'm not going to know how to work them. Like that will always be the case, but we are still working towards the same goals. And so the way we go about those things is different, and our interests are different in life. But it doesn't conflict with the values of our home and how our family unit is being driven. And that's where it gets sticky. And if that's a red flag early, Dave, I mean,
yeah, it's
something to at least talk about. And and I'll give you guys this, not to like, I don't want to belittle you because you're young, but I'm like, y'all are still figuring this out. She's still figuring this out,
Yeah.
So have that conversation with her. But I would not break up with her because of the student loan debt. I would very much possibly break up if you guys cannot get to a set of values. And I would not take a step into engagement until those are consistent.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.